The Grand Council chamber stretched like a cathedral of chrome and crystal. Princess Erin stood in the center, her silver robes marking her as royal blood of the Valerian Empire. Around her, 50 council members sat in elevated seats, their faces cold and judging. At the highest seat sat her brother, Crown Prince Theron, wearing the crimson sash of imperial authority. "You refused a direct command," Theron said. His voice echoed in the silent chamber. "The planet Torvus 9 failed to pay tribute for 3 cycles. The law is clear. Entire populations must be eliminated as examples." Erin kept her head high. "They are farmers. Their crops failed because of solar storms. They needed aid, not execution. I gave them time to recover." "You gave them weakness," another council member shouted. "The Empire stands strong because we show no mercy to those who fail us." Erin looked at each face around her. These people had once been warriors and explorers. Now they were politicians who had forgotten what honor meant. Her empire had conquered 40 star systems, but somewhere along the way they had lost their souls. "I will not murder innocent people to prove strength," Erin said firmly. "That is not strength. That is fear." Theron stood, his face twisting with anger. "You dare lecture this council about strength? You who spent 300 years in luxury, while others fought our wars." "I fought those wars beside you, brother," Erin replied. "Before you decided politics was safer than battlefields." The chamber erupted in angry voices. Council members demanded her punishment. Some called for execution. Others wanted public humiliation. Theron raised his hand for silence. "Princess Erin, daughter of the Valerian blood, you are stripped of all titles and rights. Your access to the immortality serum is revoked. You are exiled to the frontier territories. You will live among the lesser species you seem to value so highly. Perhaps they will show you the mercy you showed them." 2 guards came forward. They removed her silver robes, leaving her in plain clothing. They took the neural implant from behind her ear, the device that connected her to the Empire's networks. Without it, she was cut off from everything she had known for centuries. "You will be taken to Colony World Tejan 7, Theron continued. "It is a human settlement. Primitive creatures who only recently discovered faster-than-light travel. A fitting place for a traitor." Erin felt something break inside her chest. Not fear, but sadness. She looked at her brother one last time. "I hope you remember this day, Theron. When you finally understand what we have become." He turned away without answering. The transport ship was small and uncomfortable. Erin sat alone in the cargo hold for 3 days as they traveled to the frontier. Without her immortality treatments, she could already feel changes in her body. Her joints ached. Her vision seemed less sharp. For the first time in 3 centuries, she was truly aging. The ship dropped her at the edge of a settlement on Tejan 7 and left without a word. Erin stood in the red dust looking at the collection of metal buildings and mining equipment. Everything looked rough and temporary, built by people who were just trying to survive. She walked toward the settlement. Each step felt heavier than the last. Without proper food and medicine, her body was failing faster than she expected. The human colony looked small and poor, nothing like the grand cities of her empire. But smoke rose from chimneys and she could hear voices and machines working. There was life here. Erin made it halfway to the main gate before her legs gave out. She collapsed in the dust, the twin suns of Tejan 7 beating down on her. She tried to stand but could not. Her vision blurred. For a moment she wondered if this was how she would die, alone in the dirt of an alien world. She heard footsteps running toward her. Strong hands lifted her shoulders. "Hey, can you hear me?" a male voice asked in the common trade language. Erin opened her eyes and saw a human man kneeling beside her. He had dark hair and worried eyes. He was younger than she expected, perhaps 30 in human years. He wore practical work clothes and a weapon on his belt. "Water," Erin managed to say. The man held a container to her lips. The water was warm but clean. "What are you doing out here alone? Where did you come from?" "Exiled," Erin said. "I need help." The man looked at her more carefully. His eyes widened slightly as he recognized her species from the markings on her face and the color of her skin. "You are Valerian. I have seen pictures in the data files. What is a Valerian doing in a human mining colony?" "Dying, apparently," Erin said with bitter humor. The man made a decision. He lifted her carefully, surprised at how light she was. "My name is Doyun. I am the security chief here. Let me take you to our doctor." Erin wanted to thank him but found she could not speak anymore. Everything went dark. She woke up in a small medical room. The equipment was basic compared to Valerian technology, but it was clean and functional. A woman in a medical coat was checking monitors beside the bed. She had kind eyes and moved with practiced efficiency. "You are awake," the woman said in accented trade language. "I am Dr. Hana. You gave us quite a scare. Your body is severely malnourished and showing signs of rapid aging. What happened to you?" Aaron tried to sit up, but Hana gently pushed her back down. "Rest, you are safe here. Doyen found you and brought you to us. Can you tell me your name?" "Aaron," she said quietly, deciding to drop the princess title. It meant nothing now. "Well, Aaron, you are very sick. I have never treated a Valerian before, but your biology is close enough to ours that I can help. However, I need to understand what is wrong with you." Aaron explained about the immortality serum, how her species used it to extend life for centuries, and how her access had been cut off. Without it, she was aging rapidly. Hana listened carefully, taking notes. "How long do you have?" Hana asked. "Without proper treatment?" "Perhaps 2 or 3 months. Maybe less." Hana was quiet for a moment. "Then we will do what we can. You are not the first refugee to come here looking for a new start. This colony may be small, but we do not turn away those who need help." Aaron felt unexpected emotion rise in her throat. In all her centuries of life, surrounded by wealth and power, she had never experienced such simple kindness from a stranger. These humans owed her nothing. Her empire considered them barely civilized. Yet here they were, offering help without asking for anything in return. "Why?" Aaron asked. "Why help me?" Hana smiled. "Because it is the right thing to do. Now rest. Doyen wants to talk with you later, but first you need to recover your strength." As Aaron closed her eyes, she thought about Theron's final words. He meant to punish her by sending her to live among humans. But perhaps, she thought, he had accidentally given her something else. A chance to see what real strength looked like. Aaron spent her first week in the colony recovering in the medical bay. Dr. Hana visited twice a day, checking her progress and adjusting the treatments. The human medicine was simple but effective. Slowly, Aaron felt her strength returning, though she knew it was only temporary without the immortality serum. On the 8th day, Hana declared her well enough to leave the medical bay. "You still need rest and proper food," Hana explained. "But you can recover better in more comfortable surroundings. Doyen has offered you a room in his residence." Aaron was surprised. "He does not know me." "Why would he do this?" Hana shrugged. "That is just who he is. Doyen takes care of people. It is why we made him security chief, even though he wanted to just be a regular guard." Doyen's residence was a modest building near the colony's center. It had 4 rooms, simple furniture, and a small kitchen. He showed Aaron to a spare bedroom that had a bed, a desk, and a window overlooking the mining fields. "It is not much," Doyen said apologetically, "but it is private and quiet. You can stay as long as you need." "Thank you," Aaron said. She meant it deeply. "I will try not to be a burden." "You are not a burden," Doyen replied. "Everyone here came from somewhere else, running from something or looking for something. We help each other. That is how we survive." Over the following days, Aaron watched Doyen's daily routine. He woke before dawn and trained for 2 hours, practicing combat movements with impressive discipline. Then he made breakfast, checked the colony's security systems, and spent the day coordinating patrols and training the defense force. The colony had maybe 300 people, mostly miners and engineers. They were trying to extract valuable minerals from the mountains while building a life on this harsh world. The defense force was only 20 people, poorly armed and inexperienced. But Doyen trained them with patience and dedication. Aaron watched from her window as Doyen taught a group of young colonists basic combat techniques. He was a natural teacher, breaking down complex movements into simple steps. He never showed frustration when someone struggled. He just explained it differently until they understood. He was a military commander on Earth, Hana told Aaron one evening when she came to check on her. Led a special operations unit. But his superiors ordered him to abandon civilians during an attack to protect some politician's property. He refused and saved the civilians instead. They discharged him for disobeying orders. "So he was punished for doing the right thing," Aaron said quietly. "Like me." "Yes," Hana agreed. "Maybe that is why he understands you." On the 12th day, the alarm siren shattered the morning quiet. Aaron heard shouting and the sound of weapons firing. She went to the window and saw something massive moving near the colony's eastern wall. The creature was as tall as a building, With 6 legs and armored plates covering its body, it looked like a cross between a lizard and an insect. With mandibles that could crush metal, the creature was attacking the colony's power station, probably attracted by the electromagnetic field. Doyen was already organizing the defense. He divided the guards into 3 teams. One team evacuated civilians to the underground shelters. Another team used mining equipment to create barriers and slow the creature down. The third team, led by Doyen himself, attacked from different angles with rifles and explosives. Aaron watched with professional interest. Doyen's tactics were sound. He was using the terrain and available resources effectively. The creature was powerful but not intelligent. It focused on one target at a time, allowing the humans to hit it from blind spots. But the creature was incredibly tough. Bullets bounced off its armor. Small explosives barely slowed it down. The creature smashed through a barrier and headed toward a group of engineers who were too slow to evacuate. One engineer, a young woman named Minseo, tripped and fell. The creature's massive foot rose above her. Doyen did not hesitate. He ran forward and threw himself at Minseo, pushing her out of the way. But the creature's foot came down, catching Doyen's leg and pinning him to the ground. Aaron was moving before she realized it. She grabbed a medical kit from the wall and ran outside. The other guards were trying to distract the creature, but it was focused on Doyen now, lowering its mandibles to finish him. "Hey!" Aaron shouted. She threw a piece of metal that struck the creature's eye cluster. It was not a strong throw, but it was enough. The creature turned its attention to her. Aaron's heart pounded. She had no weapon and no strength to fight, but she had knowledge. She remembered hunting similar creatures on other worlds centuries ago. She knew their weak points. "Aim for the joint between the head and the first body segment," she shouted to the guards. "That is where the nerve cluster is located." The guards redirected their fire. One guard had a mining laser. He aimed it at the spot Aaron indicated and fired. The laser burned through the softer tissue at the joint. The creature made a terrible shrieking sound and staggered. Another guard threw an explosive that landed in the same spot. The explosion was small, but it severed the nerve cluster. The creature collapsed, its massive body shaking the ground as it fell. Aaron ran to Doyen. His leg was badly crushed, and he was losing blood. The other guards pulled him free from under the creature's foot. Minseo was crying and thanking him repeatedly. "Get him to medical," Aaron commanded. "Quickly." Hana was already prepared when they arrived. She examined Doyen's leg and shook her head. "The bones are shattered. I can stabilize him, but I do not have the equipment to properly reconstruct the damage. He might lose the leg." "No," Aaron said firmly. "I can help." She had Hana bring her certain medical supplies and equipment. Then Aaron used techniques from Valerian medicine, knowledge passed down through royal bloodlines. She manipulated the bones back into place with precision that amazed Hana. She used electromagnetic stimulation to encourage rapid healing. She applied a biological gel that would help the tissue regenerate. It took 6 hours of careful work, but when Aaron finished, Doyen's leg was saved. He would need weeks to fully heal, but he would walk again. Hana stared at Aaron with new respect. "Where did you learn to do that?" "Royal training," Aaron said tiredly. "We were taught to be warriors before we became politicians. I had forgotten much of it, but it seems some things stay with you." When Doyen woke up the next morning, Aaron was sitting beside his bed. He looked at his bandaged leg, then at her. "You saved my life," he said. "You saved Minseo first," Aaron replied. "You did not think about yourself. You just acted?" "It was the right thing to do," Doyen said simply. "Yes," Aaron agreed. "But not everyone does the right thing when it is dangerous. You risked everything for someone else. That is true courage." Doyen was quiet for a moment. "Hana told me about your exile, about why they sent you away. You refused to kill innocent people." "Yes." "Then we are alike, you and I," Doyen said. "We both chose conscience over orders." Aaron felt something shift in her heart. This human understood. In all her centuries among her own people, few had truly understood her choice. But this young man from a species her empire considered primitive grasped it immediately. "Tell me about Earth," Aaron said. "Tell me about your life before you came here." So Doyen told her. He spoke about growing up in a crowded city, joining the military to serve and protect, leading soldiers in difficult missions. He talked about the day he disobeyed orders, the trial, the discharge. He explained why he came to the frontier colonies, looking for a place where he could still make a difference. In return, Aaron told him about the Valerian Empire, about centuries of conquest and glory. She described the beauty of her home world and the horror of what her people had become. She talked about her brother and the council, about the corruption that had rotted the empire from within. They talked through the night, two exiles from different worlds finding common ground and shared values. "Your empire sounds powerful," Doyen said finally, "but also empty. All that strength used for nothing but more conquest." "Yes," Aaron said, "that is exactly right. We forgot why we built the empire in the first place. We forgot what we were supposed to protect." "Here," Doyen said, "we are not powerful. We have basic weapons and old ships, but we protect each other. That gives us purpose." Aaron smiled. It was the first real smile she had felt in a long time. "Perhaps your people understand something mine forgot, Doyen. Perhaps that is real strength." 2 months passed in the colony. Doyen recovered fully and returned to his duties. Aaron helped where she could, offering advice on security and teaching basic alien languages to the colonists. She felt more alive in these simple months than she had in decades of royal luxury, but her body continued to fail. Without the immortality serum, the aging process accelerated. Her hair was turning gray. Her hands shook sometimes. She moved slower each day. Hannah did everything she could, but human medicine could only delay the inevitable. One evening, Aaron stood alone in the colony's observation dome, a clear structure built on the highest hill where people could watch the stars. The view was beautiful. She could see 3 moons rising over the mountains and the distant glow of nebulae. She thought about her life. 300 years of existence, and only these last few months felt truly meaningful. She had fought in wars, attended grand ceremonies, lived in palaces, but none of it compared to the simple satisfaction of helping Minseo fix a broken water pump yesterday, or teaching young colonists about the galaxy beyond their world. "I thought I would find you here." Doyen's voice came from behind her. Aaron turned. Doyen carried 2 cups of tea and handed her one. They stood together, looking at the stars. "Hannah told me," Doyen said quietly. "She says you have maybe a month left." "Maybe less," Aaron nodded. She was not afraid of death, but she felt sad about leaving. "It is strange. I have lived for centuries, but I will miss these few months more than all those years." "You made a difference here," Doyen said. "People respect you. They learned from you." "And I learned from them," Aaron replied. "From all of you. Your people have something special, Doyen. You face impossible odds with courage and creativity. You care for each other. That is rare in the galaxy." They were quiet for a while, drinking tea and watching the stars. Finally, Aaron spoke again. "There is something I must tell you. Something important." She explained about the Valerian Codex, a neural database that existed in her genetic memory. It contained thousands of years of accumulated knowledge. Military strategies, diplomatic protocols, technological secrets, cultural information about dozens of species, and combat techniques refined over centuries. Every member of the royal bloodline carried it, passed down through generations. "When a royal dies, the codex usually dies with them," Aaron explained. "But there is a way to transfer it to another person. It can only be done once, and it is incredibly dangerous for the receiver. Their mind must absorb centuries of information in days. Most who try it go insane or die." Doyen understood immediately. "You want to give it to me?" "Yes," Aaron said. "I know it is an enormous burden to ask, but this knowledge could help your people. You are new to the galaxy, vulnerable. Other species will try to take advantage of you. But with this knowledge, you could navigate the dangers. You could help humanity find its place among the stars." "Why me?" Doyen asked. "Why not your own people?" "Because you understand what my people forgot," Aaron said fiercely. "You know that power should serve justice, not the other way around. You proved that when you saved those civilians on Earth. You proved it again when you saved Minseo. You are a warrior who still remembers what he fights for." Doyen walked to the edge of the dome, looking out at the colony below. Lights glowed in windows. People were having dinner, talking, living their lives. He protected these people. He would die for these people. But was he the right person for this? "I am just a soldier," Doyen said. "I am not a leader or a politician. I do not know how to handle that kind of knowledge." "That is exactly why you must have it," Aaron said. "Leaders and politicians think too much about power. Soldiers think about duty. I need someone who will use this knowledge to protect, not to conquer." "What if I fail?" Doyen asked. "What if the knowledge drives me mad or I misuse it?" "Then I will have chosen wrongly." Aaron said honestly. But I do not think I am wrong about you, Do-yun. I have watched you for months. I know your character. You are the successor I choose, not because of your bloodline or status, but because of who you are. Do-yun turned to face her. He saw the determination in her eyes, but also the weakness in her body. She was dying. This was her last chance to pass on her legacy, and she was trusting him with it. If I do this, Do-yun said, I do it on one condition. This knowledge does not belong to me. It belongs to humanity. I will share it, teach it, use it to help all our colonies, not just for power, but for survival and protection. Aaron smiled. That was the answer she hoped for. Agreed. You will be the guardian of this knowledge, not its master. They went to Hana and explained what they planned to do. Hana was horrified. This could kill him, Hana said bluntly. The human brain is not designed to process that much information. The neural pathways could burn out. He could have seizures, brain damage, or complete psychological breakdown. I know the risks, Do-yun said calmly. But if there is a chance this helps our people, I have to try. Hana looked between them, seeing the determination in both faces. Finally, she sighed. I will monitor everything I can. If his vital signs become critical, I am stopping the process. Understood? Understood, Aaron agreed. They prepared a room in the medical bay. Aaron lay on one bed, Do-yun on another bed beside her. Hana connected neural monitors to both of them. The transfer process would use a direct neural link, a technology the Valerian had developed for sharing memories and knowledge. This will take 3 days, Aaron explained to Do-yun. We will be in a shared consciousness state. You will experience my memories while I guide you through the knowledge. It will be overwhelming. You may see things that disturb you, moments from my life that were not pleasant. You must stay focused and trust me to guide you through it. I trust you, Do-yun said. Minseo and several other colonists came to watch over them. They brought food, blankets, and medical supplies. The whole colony knew something important was happening. They did not fully understand it, but they supported Do-yun. Aaron activated the neural link. Immediately, their minds connected. Do-yun found himself floating in a vast space filled with light and information. He could feel Aaron's presence beside him, steady and calm. Then the memories began. He experienced her childhood on the Valerian homeworld, learning to fight and lead. He felt her first battle, the fear and exhilaration. He saw her rise through military ranks, earning respect through skill and courage. He witnessed the slow corruption of the empire, the gradual shift from noble purpose to cruel domination. The knowledge flowed into him like a river. Combat techniques from a dozen species, diplomatic strategies for negotiating with alien minds, technological principles for faster-than-light travel, weapon systems, medical treatments, languages, histories, cultural customs. It was too much. Do-yun felt his mind struggling to contain it all. He wanted to scream, to break the connection, but Aaron's presence steadied him. Breathe, her voice came through the chaos. Do not try to hold everything at once. Let it flow through you. Your mind will organize it naturally. Do-yun followed her guidance. He stopped fighting the flood of information and just let it come. Gradually, his mind adapted. The knowledge began to settle into patterns, creating new neural pathways to store it all. On the second day, Do-yun experienced Aaron's darker memories. He felt her guilt over planets conquered and species enslaved. He witnessed the order to destroy Torvus 9 and her refusal. He experienced the trial and the bitter betrayal by her own brother. These memories were painful, but they taught him important lessons. He learned what happened when power became its own purpose. He understood why Aaron chose exile over compromise. On the third day, something unexpected happened. The transfer was not just one direction anymore. Aaron began experiencing Do-yun's memories too. She saw his life on Earth, his military service, the civilians he saved. She felt his love for his team, his heartbreak at their deaths when command abandoned them. Through his eyes, she saw humanity, not as a primitive species to be conquered, but as people with courage, creativity, and compassion. She understood why he was willing to risk everything for the colonists here. They were his family now. The neural link dissolved slowly. Do-yun and Aaron opened their eyes at the same time. Hana immediately checked their vital signs, relief flooding her face when she saw they were both stable. Did it work? Hana asked. Do-yun sat up slowly. His mind felt different, expanded. He could recall battle strategies from wars fought before Earth even had cities. He understood the political structure of species humanity had never met. He knew 17 different martial arts styles. Yes, Doyen said quietly. It worked? Aaron smiled weakly from her bed. The transfer had taken the last of her strength, but she felt satisfied. Her legacy would continue, not in conquest and empire, but in protection and justice. Now you understand, Aaron whispered. Now you know what I know. Use it wisely, Doyen. Make it mean something good. I will, Doyen promised. I swear it. Doyen spent a week adjusting to his new reality. The knowledge was there, clear and organized in his mind, but learning to access it naturally took practice. Sometimes he would reach for a tool and suddenly remember 3 different alien technologies that could do the same job better. Other times he would hear a language he had never learned but somehow understood perfectly. The colonists noticed the change in him. He moved differently now, with a precision and confidence that seemed almost alien. When he trained the defense force, he taught them techniques they had never seen before. When he examined the colony's defenses, he redesigned them using principles from a dozen different worlds. Minseo approached him one afternoon while he was sketching modifications for the power station. You are different, she said carefully. Not bad different, just more. Doyen smiled. I am still me, Minseo. I just have more tools in my head now. Did it hurt? The transfer? Yes, Doyen admitted. It felt like my brain was being rewritten. But Aaron guided me through it. She made sure I did not lose myself in all the new information. Aaron herself was fading quickly. The transfer had used the last of her life energy. She spent most of her time in bed now, too weak to walk. Hana kept her comfortable, but there was nothing more to be done medically. Everyone knew she had days left, perhaps hours. Doyen visited her every evening. Sometimes they talked. Sometimes they just sat together in comfortable silence. She seemed at peace, satisfied with her choice. How does it feel? Aaron asked one evening. Carrying all that history? Heavy, Doyen said honestly. I see now what your empire was and what it became. I understand why you could not serve it anymore. Do you regret accepting the Codex? No, Doyen said firmly. This knowledge can help my people survive, but I also understand the danger. Power like this can corrupt. I have to stay vigilant, remember why I have it. You will, Aaron said with certainty. You are strong in ways my people forgot how to be. On the 9th day after the transfer, the peace ended. The colony's sensors detected a ship entering orbit, not a human ship. The design was Valerian. Doyen went to the communication center and studied the readings. His new knowledge let him identify the ship class immediately. A scout vessel, lightly armed, crew of maybe 30. He opened a communication channel. This is Colony Tijin 7. Identify yourself. A female face appeared on the screen. She was Valerian, with the silver markings of military command. Her expression was cold and professional. I am Captain Ellis of the Valerian Imperial Fleet. We have tracked an exile to this world. I am here to verify her status and ensure she is suffering appropriately. Doyen felt anger rise in his chest but kept his voice calm. The exile you speak of is under our protection. She is sick and dying. There is nothing for you to verify. Ellis's eyes narrowed. You are human. You should not even know about Imperial exiles. How do you know who I seek? Because she is here and she is my friend. Impossible. No Valerian would befriend a primitive species like yours. Ellis paused, studying his face. Wait, you are the one. The rumors are true. What rumors? The exile transferred the Codex. I can see it in how you hold yourself, how you speak. You have royal knowledge. Ellis looked genuinely shocked. Do you understand what she has done? That is forbidden. The Codex belongs to Valerian bloodline only. By giving it to an alien, she has committed the ultimate crime against our empire. Your empire exiled her, Doyen said flatly. It took everything from her. The Codex was hers to give. I am authorized to execute both of you, Ellis said. Bring her to me and I will make her death quick. Refuse, and I will level your colony from orbit. Doyen thought quickly, accessing tactical knowledge from the Codex. He understood Valerian military protocols now. He knew their honor codes and combat traditions. "I challenge you to Talvorn," Doyen said clearly. Ellis blinked in surprise. "You know of the Talvorn?" "I know many things now. Single combat, ancient tradition binding on all Valerian warriors. If I win, you leave and never return. If you win, you can take us both. Do you accept?" Ellis was trapped by her own culture. The Talvorn was sacred to Valerian warriors. To refuse would bring shame. But she was also curious. How could a human, even one with the Codex, hope to defeat a trained Valerian warrior? "I accept," Ellis said. "I will land in 1 hour. Prepare yourself, human." Doyen went to Aaron and told her what happened. She tried to sit up but did not have the strength. "You should not do this," Aaron said weakly. "Ellis is one of the best fighters in the Imperial fleet. Even with the Codex, you have only had the knowledge for days. She has trained her whole life." "I know," Doyen said. "But I cannot let her take you. And I cannot let her destroy the colony. This is the only way. You could die. Yes. But that is my choice to make." Aaron looked at him with pride and sorrow mixed together. "You truly are my successor, not because of the knowledge, but because of your heart. Promise me something. Anything. If you survive, do not waste your life on revenge against my empire. Use the knowledge to protect your people, to build something better. Promise me." "I promise," Doyen said. Ellis landed her small shuttle in the colony's central square. She stepped out wearing light combat armor and carrying a plasma blade. The colonists gathered at a safe distance to watch. They did not fully understand what was happening, but they knew Doyen was fighting for them. Doyen stood waiting, wearing simple combat clothing and carrying a human-made blade. He looked small compared to Ellis, but he stood with calm confidence. "Last chance to surrender," Ellis said. "I do not wish to kill someone who carries royal knowledge, even if you are human." "I cannot surrender," Doyen replied. "This is my home. These are my people." "Then we fight." The Talvorn had specific rules. No weapons other than blades. No armor that provided energy shields. Fight until surrender or death. Ellis activated her plasma blade, the weapon humming with contained energy. Doyen activated his own blade. It was cruder technology, but it would cut. They circled each other. Ellis moved first, a testing strike that Doyen parried. She was fast, incredibly fast. Her training showed in every movement. She attacked in combinations, trying to overwhelm him. But Doyen had something Ellis did not expect. He had Aaron's memories of fighting this exact opponent. Aaron and Ellis had trained together decades ago. Doyen knew Ellis's patterns, her favorite techniques, her weaknesses. More than that, Doyen combined Valerian combat knowledge with human creativity. He used moves no Valerian would expect, mixing alien techniques with improvisation. When Ellis expected him to block high, he rolled low. When she thought he would retreat, he advanced. The fight was brutal and fast. Both fighters were cut multiple times. Blood fell on the dust. The colonists watched in tense silence. Ellis began to realize she was in real danger. This human fought like a master, combining knowledge she recognized with strategies she did not. How was this possible? He had only carried the Codex for days. "You are good," Ellis admitted during a brief pause in the fighting. "Better than I expected, but I have fought for a century. You cannot win." "Maybe not," Doyen said, breathing hard, "but I will not stop. I protect my people. That is what warriors do." Something in his words struck Ellis. She remembered why she became a warrior before politics and empire corrupted everything. She remembered fighting for something she believed in, not just following orders. They clashed again. Doyen was tiring, but so was Ellis. The fight could not last much longer. One of them would make a mistake soon. Ellis lunged with a killing strike. Doyen sidestepped, but not quite fast enough. Her blade scored a deep cut across his shoulder. Pain exploded through him. But he used the momentum of her attack against her. As she passed, he swept her legs with a move from Earth martial arts. Ellis fell. Before she could rise, Doyen's blade was at her throat. "Yield," Doyen said quietly. Ellis looked up at him. She saw determination in his eyes, but also mercy. He could kill her, but chose not to. That was the mark of a true warrior. "I yield," Ellis said. Doyen stepped back, lowering his blade. The colonists cheered, but he barely heard them. He swayed, dizzy from blood loss. Hana ran forward to treat his wound. Ellis stood slowly. She deactivated her blade and looked at Doyen with new respect. "You fought with honor, human. I will keep my word. I leave now, and will not return." "Wait," Doyen said. "Tell me something. Do you believe in what your empire does, the executions, the cruelty?" Ellis was quiet for a long moment. "No," she said finally. "But I am a soldier. I follow orders." "So was I once," Doyen said, "until I realized some orders should not be followed." Ellis nodded slowly. She understood what he meant. She returned to her shuttle without another word. But as she lifted off, she sent one final message to the colony. "What you did today will not stay secret. I must report it. The Empire will send more ships. You have started something you cannot stop." Doyen watched her ship disappear into the sky. He knew she was right. By defeating her, by claiming the Codex, he had challenged the entire Valerian Empire. They would come with greater force next time. But he also knew something else. Humanity would not face them alone anymore. Not if he could help it. News of Doyen's victory spread through both human and alien communication networks. On human colonies, people celebrated. A human had defeated a Valerian warrior in single combat. It was proof that humanity could stand equal to the older species. But on Titan 7, people understood the darker truth. The Valerian Empire would not accept this insult. They would come back with overwhelming force. Erin grew weaker each day. She could barely speak now, her breath coming in shallow gasps. But she insisted on staying informed. Doyen sat beside her bed and told her everything that was happening. "They are calling you a hero," Doyen said. "Across all the human colonies. They say you chose humanity over your own empire." Erin smiled weakly. "Not humanity. I chose justice. It just happened to be humans who still understood what that meant." "The Empire will send warships," Doyen said. "Ellis was just one scout. Next time they will bring a battle fleet." "Yes," Erin whispered. "You must prepare. Unite the human colonies. They are separate now, weak. Together you have a chance. How? I'm just one person." "No," Erin said firmly. "You are the carrier of royal knowledge. You understand how empires think, how they fight. Use that knowledge. Show the other colonies that unity is their only survival." Doyen knew she was right. He sent messages to every human colony in the sector. He used Valerian diplomatic protocols to make his messages carry weight and authority. He explained the threat and offered his knowledge to help prepare a defense. Most colonies ignored him. They did not believe a Valerian fleet would waste resources attacking remote human settlements. A few colonies sent polite refusals saying they preferred to stay neutral. But some listened. Admiral Taehyung commanded the Earth Colonial Fleet's 3rd Squadron, 5 military ships patrolling the frontier. He was a careful man, skeptical of wild claims. But when he heard that a human carried the Valerian Codex and had defeated a Valerian captain in single combat, he decided to investigate personally. Taehyung arrived at Titan 7 with 2 escort ships. He met Doyen in the colony's command center. The admiral was older, maybe 50, with sharp eyes that missed nothing. "Prove it," Taehyung said bluntly. "Prove you have this knowledge everyone talks about." Doyen brought up tactical displays and began explaining Valerian fleet doctrine. He described their weapon systems, their battle formations, their communication protocols. He pointed out weaknesses that human military had never known existed. Taehyung listened with growing amazement. He had studied Valerian military for years, but Doyen spoke with the confidence of someone who had fought in their wars. The level of detail was impossible unless he truly carried their knowledge. "How is this possible?" Taehyung asked. "How can a human mind hold all this information?" "It was not easy," Doyen admitted. "The transfer almost killed me, but Princess Erin guided me through it. She believed humanity needed this knowledge to survive." "Princess?" Taehyung looked shocked. "The exile was royal." Doyen told him the full story. Aaron's refusal to execute innocent people, her trial in exile, the transfer of the codex. Taehyung listened carefully, his military mind already calculating the implications. If you truly have this knowledge, Taehyung said slowly, it changes everything. Humanity has been stumbling blind through galactic politics. We make mistakes because we do not understand the rules. But with this knowledge, we can survive. Doyun finished. Maybe more than survive. We can build alliances, avoid traps, defend ourselves properly, but only if we work together. Taehyung made his decision. I will bring this to Earth Command, but it will take time to convince them. In the meantime, the Valerian threat is real and immediate. We need to prepare. More colonies began to listen. Governor Jiwon of Sejong 5, an agricultural world, offered food supplies and support. She understood that if Taejin 7 fell, her colony might be next. Commander Hajun of New Busan, a small industrial colony, pledged his defense ships and manufacturing capability. Within 2 weeks, representatives from 12 human colonies gathered at Taejin 7. They met in the colony's largest building, sitting around a table that Minseo and her team had built specially for this meeting. Doyun stood at the head of the table. He felt the weight of their expectations. These people were betting their lives and their colonies on him, on his knowledge and leadership. The Valerian Empire is coming, Doyun began. Not with one scout ship, but with a battle fleet. They see humanity as a threat now. One of their own gave us royal knowledge. They will want to destroy that knowledge and punish us for having it. How many ships? Commander Hajun asked. At least 15 warships, Doyun said, accessing the Codex knowledge. Probably led by Princess Erin's brother, Crown Prince Theron himself. This is not just military action. This is about pride and control. Governor Jiwon looked worried. We have maybe 10 ships total between all our colonies. They are not military vessels, just converted cargo ships with basic weapons. How can we possibly fight a Valerian battle fleet? We cannot fight them directly, Doyun admitted. But we can make victory so costly that they decide we are not worth the effort. We use tactics they do not expect. We turn our weaknesses into advantages. He brought up star charts and began explaining his strategy. Use Taejin 7's asteroid field for cover. Exploit the Valerian tendency to fight in formal battle formations. Hit them with surprise attacks and retreat before they can respond properly. Make them chase human ships through dangerous terrain. This is guerrilla warfare, Admiral Taehyung said with approval. Fighting smart instead of fighting strong. Exactly, Doyun agreed. The Valerian expect us to fight like them, formation against formation. Instead, we fight like humans, creative, unpredictable, willing to take risks they would never consider. Over the next week, they prepared. Minseo and her engineering teams worked on ship modifications, installing better weapons and shields using principles from the Codex. Commander Hajun trained pilots in new tactics. Admiral Taehyung coordinated with Earth Command, requesting reinforcements though he knew none would arrive in time. Doyun spent every spare moment with Aaron. She was fading fast now. Sometimes she did not recognize him. Other times she was clear and sharp, asking about the preparations. You have done something remarkable, Aaron told him on one of her clear days. You have united separate colonies into an alliance. That is more than military tactics. That is leadership. I am just following what you taught me, Doyun said. No, Aaron said firmly. The knowledge I gave you is just information. What you do with it comes from who you are. You could have used it for personal power. Instead, you use it to protect others. That is your choice, not mine. Hana came in to check Aaron's vital signs. She looked at Doyun sadly and shook her head. Hours, maybe a day left. Stay with her, Hana said quietly. She should not be alone at the end. Doyun held Aaron's hand. It felt cold and frail. This powerful princess who had lived for centuries was now barely holding on to life. Thank you, Doyun said. For everything. For trusting me. For giving me the tools to help my people. Thank you, Aaron whispered back. For showing me that my life meant something. For proving that my choice was right. They sat together through the night. Sometimes Aaron slept. Sometimes she talked, sharing last thoughts and advice. She made him promise again not to seek revenge, to use the knowledge for protection and not conquest. As dawn approached, Aaron squeezed his hand weakly. Doyun, she said, her voice barely audible. Build something better than what I came from. Build something worth protecting. I will, Doyun promised. I swear it. Aaron smiled. Then I have no regrets. She closed her eyes and did not open them again. Hana confirmed it a few minutes later. Princess Erin of the Valerian Empire, exile and teacher, was dead. The colonists held a memorial service the next day. Nearly everyone attended, even those who had never met Erin personally. They understood what she had done for them, for all humanity. They buried her on the hill beside the observation dome, the place she loved to watch the stars. Doyen spoke at the service. She was royal by birth but noble by choice. She gave up everything rather than betray her principles. She trusted humanity with her knowledge because she saw in us something her empire lost. We honor her by becoming worthy of that trust. As the service ended, the colony's sensors detected multiple ships dropping out of faster-than-light travel. The Valerian fleet had arrived. Doyen looked at the grave one last time. Then he turned and walked toward the command center. The battle was about to begin. Governor Jiwan walked beside him. What do we do now? Doyen accessed the tactical knowledge from the codex. He saw the battlefield in his mind, all the possibilities and probabilities. It was time to prove that humanity could fight smart and survive. Now, Doyen said calmly, we show them what humans can do. 15 Valerian warships hung in orbit above Tajin 7, arranged in perfect military formation. Each ship was 5 times larger than the biggest human vessel. Their weapons could glass a planet from orbit. Their shields could withstand sustained attacks from conventional weapons. In the command center, Doyen studied the tactical display. The human alliance had 8 ships total. Admiral Taehyung commanded 2 proper military vessels. Commander Hajun brought 3 converted cargo ships with basic weapons. 3 more colonies contributed 1 ship each. Against 15 Valerian warships, it looked hopeless. But Doyen saw possibilities others might miss. The communication channel activated. A face appeared on the main screen. Crown Prince Theron looked exactly like his sister. But where Erin had warmth in her eyes, Theron had only cold calculation. He wore the crimson royal sash and sat on an elaborate command chair. Humans of Tajin 7, Theron's voice filled the room. I am Crown Prince Theron of the Valerian Empire. My sister committed treason by transferring royal knowledge to an inferior species. Surrender her and the human who carries the codex. Do this within 1 hour and your colony will be spared. Doyen stepped forward, activating the video connection on his end. Princess Erin died 2 days ago. As for me, I am Doyen, security chief of this colony. I carry the knowledge she chose to give me. Theron leaned forward, studying Doyen with interest. So you are the human. You do not look impressive. My sister always had poor judgment. Your sister had courage, Doyen said. She stood for what was right even when it cost her everything. She was a fool, Theron snapped. And now she is dead as she deserved. You, however, are a problem. You carry knowledge that belongs to Valerian bloodline only. That cannot be allowed. The knowledge was hers to give. She made me her successor. No heir chosen by a traitor has legitimacy, Theron said. Here is my offer. Transport to my flagship immediately. I will execute you quickly and painlessly. Refuse and I will destroy your colony from orbit. Every man, woman, and child will die. You have 1 hour to decide. The transmission ended. Governor Jiwan looked pale. He means it. He will kill everyone here. Yes, Doyen agreed. That is how the Valerian Empire maintains control, through fear and overwhelming force. So what do we do? Commander Hajun asked. We cannot win against that fleet. We do not need to win, Doyen said. He brought up the tactical display and began marking positions. We just need to make victory too expensive. The Empire is already stretched thin controlling their conquered territories. They cannot afford to lose ships on a minor colony. We make this battle cost more than they are willing to pay. Admiral Taehyung studied the plan Doyen was creating. This is insane, but it might work. Doyen activated the communication system, sending orders to all Alliance ships. This operation is called Phoenix. We use the terrain against them. The asteroid field around Tajin 7 is dense and filled with mineral deposits that disrupt sensors. We hide there and strike fast, then disappear. We force them to split their formation. We never fight the whole fleet at once. They have vastly superior technology, Governor Jiwan pointed out. Yes, but technology has limitations, Doyen explained. Their sensors cannot penetrate the asteroids effectively. Their large ships are powerful but slow to maneuver. We use smaller ships, faster ships. We hit them where they are weak and retreat before they can respond. Minseo brought up engineering data. I modified our ships based on the Codex knowledge. We installed devices that can temporarily overload Valerian shields if we get close enough. It will only work for a few seconds, but that might be enough. Exactly, Doyen said. We exploit every weakness. We use tactics they do not expect because they think we are primitive. The hour passed. Doyen sent his response to Theron. We refuse your offer. This is our home. We defend it. Theron's response was immediate. Then you die. All of you. The Valerian fleet began moving into attack formation, but Doyen had already moved the human ships into the asteroid field. The dense rocks and mineral interference made targeting difficult. All ships begin Operation Phoenix, Doyen commanded. Remember, we are not trying to destroy them. We are trying to make them bleed. The first attack came from 3 sides simultaneously. Human ships darted out from behind asteroids, fired their weapons at close range, then disappeared back into cover. The Valerian ships took minor damage to their shields. Not serious, but unexpected. Theron ordered his fleet to pursue. The Valerian warships entered the asteroid field, but their large vessels struggled to navigate the narrow spaces between rocks. They had to slow down and move carefully. Human ships attacked again from different directions. Admiral Taehyung led his 2 military vessels in a coordinated strike on the same target, using Minseo's modified weapons. The shield overload devices worked. For 3 seconds, 1 Valerian ship was vulnerable. Human weapons punched through and damaged the ship's engines. 1 Valerian ship was crippled. 14 remained. But the battle had just started. Theron was furious. He ordered his ships to spread out and sweep the asteroid field systematically. He would flush the humans out and destroy them. Doyen had anticipated this. He knew Valerian tactical doctrine inside and out. He knew Theron would respond with overwhelming force rather than strategy. That arrogance was their weakness. All ships pattern Delta, Doyen ordered. Lead them deeper. Human ships appeared just long enough to fire a few shots, then retreated deeper into the asteroid field. The Valerian ships followed, angry and determined. They were being led into the densest part of the field, where sensor interference was strongest. Commander Hajun positioned his 3 converted cargo ships in a narrow canyon between 2 massive asteroids. When Valerian ships entered the canyon, Hajun's ships unleashed everything they had. Missiles, energy weapons, even explosive charges dropped directly onto enemy hulls. 2 more Valerian ships took serious damage. One had to retreat from the battle completely. The other limped along with reduced capability. Theron realized he was being played. These humans were not fighting like primitive species. They were using sophisticated tactics, exploiting terrain, coordinating attacks perfectly. Someone was commanding this battle who understood Valerian military doctrine. Focus all fire on the colony itself, Theron ordered. If we cannot catch their ships, we destroy their home. That will force them to come to us. 3 Valerian ships broke formation and headed directly for Taejan 7. They prepared to fire planetary bombardment weapons. Doyen had known this moment would come. Governor Jiwon, execute your part of the plan. Jiwon's ship and 2 others dropped out of the asteroid field and flew directly at the 3 Valerian ships heading for the colony. It looked like a suicidal charge. 3 small human ships against 3 massive warships. But Doyen had equipped these ships specially. They carried experimental devices that Minseo built based on Codex knowledge. Each device could create a temporary spatial disruption field. It would only last seconds, but it would be enough. The 3 human ships activated the devices simultaneously as they approached the Valerian ships. Space twisted around the warships. Their weapons misfired. Their navigation systems went haywire. For precious seconds, they were blind and helpless. Admiral Taehyung had been waiting for this moment. His 2 military ships, along with Commander Hajun's squadron, emerged from the asteroid field at maximum speed. They focused all firepower on Theron's flagship while it was disrupted. The attack was coordinated perfectly. Shields failed. Weapons struck hull armor. Theron's flagship shuddered under the impact. The main engines went offline. The communication array exploded. Theron's ship was crippled and drifting. But the price was high. 2 human ships were destroyed when Valerian vessels recovered and fired back. Governor Jiwon's ship was badly damaged. Admiral Taehyung's flagship had critical damage to life support. 6 human ships remained operational. 8 Valerian warships were still combat capable, but they had lost their command ship and their commander. On Taejan 7, Doyen activated a planetary broadcast. He knew Theron could still hear it, even if his communication systems were damaged. Crown Prince Theron, this is Doyen. Your fleet is wounded. You have lost ships and warriors. For what, to punish one small colony? To reclaim knowledge freely given? Princess Erin was right about you. You forgot what honor means. You only understand force. Doyen switched to Valerian military frequencies, addressing all the ships directly. Valerian warriors, I carry the Codex. I know your history. Your ancestors were explorers and protectors. They built an empire to bring order to chaos. But somewhere you lost your way. Now you conquer for conquest's sake. You execute the innocent to maintain fear. Is this what you want to die for? There was silence. Then one Valerian captain responded, "The human speaks truth. I did not join the fleet to murder colonists. I joined to serve with honor." "Traitor!" another captain shouted. "The prince gave us orders." "The prince's orders are dishonorable," the first captain replied. "I withdraw from this battle." One Valerian ship broke formation and left the system. Then another captain spoke. "I also withdraw. This is not the empire I swore to serve." Two more ships departed. The remaining Valerian ships were confused and demoralized. They had never seen their own captains defect before. The human fleet had fought with skill and courage. Their prince was defeated. 3 days after the battle, Crown Prince Theron returned to Tajin 7. But this time he came alone in a small personal transport. No warships. No guards, just him. The colonists were suspicious. Admiral Taehyung wanted to shoot his ship down immediately. But Doyen sensed something different in this approach. He granted Theron permission to land. "This is foolish," Commander Hajun warned. "It could be a trick." "No," Doyen said, accessing his knowledge of Valerian culture. "This is personal now. He comes alone because he must. His pride demands it." Theron landed his transport in the colony's central square. He stepped out wearing simple clothes, no royal regalia. His face was tired and angry. He carried a plasma blade openly on his belt but made no threatening moves. Doyen met him in the square, surrounded by armed colonists. The two men stood facing each other. Prince and commoner, alien and human. Two successors of Princess Erin, chosen by blood and by choice. "You humiliated me," Theron said without preamble. "You destroyed my fleet. You turned my own captains against me. The council is questioning my leadership. All because of you." "No," Doyen replied calmly. "All because of your sister. She started this when she chose principle over power. My sister was a fool. Your sister was brave. There is a difference." Theron's hand moved to his blade. "I should kill you here and now." "You could try," Doyen said. "But you know what will happen. I carry the Codex. I know how you fight. I will defeat you like I defeated Captain Illis, another failure to add to your list." Theron's face twisted with rage. "You dare mock me?" "I dare speak truth," Doyen said. "Something no one in your empire does anymore. That is why it is rotting from inside. That is why your own captains abandoned you." Theron drew his blade. The colonists raised their weapons, but Doyen held up a hand to stop them. This was between him and Theron now. "You want to fight?" Doyen asked. "Then we fight. But understand this. Your sister is buried on that hill. She watches us right now. What do you think she would say about what you have become? Do not speak of her." Theron shouted. He attacked, his blade cutting through the air with deadly precision. Doyen drew his own blade and met the attack. The fight was faster and more brutal than his duel with Ellis. Theron was stronger, more experienced, driven by rage and wounded pride. He fought to kill, not just to win, but Doyen had something Theron did not. He had fought for something beyond himself. Every move he made was not just technique from the Codex. It was also the human instinct to protect home and friends. It was Erin's legacy mixed with his own determination. The duel lasted 5 minutes. Both men were bleeding from multiple cuts. The colonists watched in tense silence. Finally, Doyen saw an opening. Theron overextended on an attack, confident in his superior strength. Doyen used a move he had invented himself, combining Valerian footwork with earth martial arts. He sidestepped, trapped Theron's blade arm, and swept his legs. The prince fell hard. Before he could recover, Doyen's blade was at his throat. "Yield," Doyen commanded. Theron looked up at him with hatred and something else. Confusion. How could a human who had carried the Codex for mere weeks defeat him? A prince who had trained for over a century? "How?" Theron gasped. "Because I am not fighting with just your empire's knowledge," Doyen explained. "I am fighting with human creativity, too. I am fighting for something I believe in. You are just fighting because you cannot accept losing." Doyen stepped back, lowering his blade. He made the same choice Aaron had made on Torvus 9. The same choice that had led to her exile and death. He chose mercy over killing. Go, Doyen said. Return to your empire. Tell them what happened here. Tell them that humanity will defend itself. Tell them that your sister's legacy lives on and it is stronger than your conquests. Theron stood slowly, disbelief on his face. You defeated me. You could take my life. Why do you spare me? Because your sister taught me that mercy is not weakness. Killing you accomplishes nothing. But letting you live means you must face what you have become. You must report your failure. You must look in the mirror and see what your empire has turned you into. Theron picked up his blade and sheathed it. He looked at Doyen with an expression that was hard to read. Anger, certainly, but also maybe something like respect. This is not over, Theron said. The Empire will not forget this. I know, Doyen replied. But the Empire will also not find us easy prey. We will be ready next time. Theron walked back to his transport. But before entering, he turned one more time. My sister, he said quietly. Did she? Was her death peaceful? Yes, Doyen said honestly. She died surrounded by people who cared for her. She died knowing her choice made a difference. She died with no regrets. Theron nodded slowly. Something in his eyes looked sad for just a moment. Then it was gone, replaced by cold pride. He entered his transport and departed. Admiral Taehyung approached Doyen. You should have killed him. Maybe, Doyen admitted. But Aaron wanted me to build something better than what she came from. How do I do that? By becoming what her empire is? Over the next weeks, more human colonies joined what they were calling the Guardian Alliance. Word spread about how Taejin 7 had faced a Valerian battle fleet and survived. More importantly, word spread about the human who carried ancient knowledge and used it to protect instead of conquer. Representatives from 30 colonies came to Taejin 7 for a formal alliance ceremony. They gathered in a new building constructed for this purpose. Governor Ji-won, Admiral Taehyung, Commander Hajun, and leaders from across human space stood together. We call ourselves the Guardian Alliance, Doyen explained to the assembly. Not because we seek to rule, but because we protect. Each colony keeps its independence, but we defend each other. We share knowledge and resources. We stand together against threats. What about other species? Someone asked. Will we only protect humans? Doyen thought about Aaron, about the 3 Valerian captains who had defected during the battle. No, we protect any who join us honestly, any species that shares our values of mutual defense and justice. This is not about human superiority. This is about creating something better. 5 alien species sent observers to the ceremony. They were smaller civilizations tired of being caught between larger empires. They saw in the Guardian Alliance a possible alternative. Minseo worked with engineers from multiple colonies to upgrade ships and defenses using knowledge from the Codex. Dr. Hana trained medical personnel in techniques from a dozen worlds. Commander Hajun established a military academy to teach combined human and alien tactics. The colony of Taejin 7 changed its name to Aaron's Hope. It became the headquarters of the Guardian Alliance. The hill where Aaron was buried became a memorial garden, a place where people came to remember what she had sacrificed. Doyen visited the grave every evening. Tonight he brought fresh flowers, carefully grown in the colony's greenhouse. He sat on the bench facing the memorial stone and talked to her as if she could hear. We are building something, he said. Like you asked. Something worth protecting. We have 30 human colonies and 5 alien partners now. More are coming every week. People are choosing cooperation over conquest. The wind whispered through the memorial garden, carrying the scent of growing things. Theron came back, Doyen continued. I defeated him but spared his life. I hope that was the right choice. I think maybe showing mercy to him proved something. Proved that we are different from what the Empire has become. He paused, looking at the stars appearing in the evening sky. I miss you, Doyen said simply. You gave me this knowledge, but I wish you were here to guide me. Sometimes I am not sure I am doing the right thing. The responsibility feels heavy. Footsteps approached behind him. Doyen turned to see Admiral Taehyung and Governor Ji-won. Sorry to interrupt, Taehyung said. But we have news. Earth Command wants to meet with you. They want to make the Guardian Alliance official with Earth's support. That is good news, Doyen said, standing. There is more, Ji-won added. We received a message from inside Valerian space. Captain Ellis, the one you defeated in the Telvorn. Doyen was surprised. What does she want? She is requesting asylum, Jiwan explained. She says watching you fight Theron, seeing you choose mercy, made her question everything. She wants to leave the Empire and join us. She says there are others like her, warriors who are tired of serving corruption. Doyen thought about this carefully. Accepting Valerian defectors could strengthen the alliance, but it could also bring danger. The Empire would see it as another insult. What do you think? Taehyung asked. You carry the Codex. You understand their culture better than any of us. I think, Doyen said slowly, that this is exactly what Aaron hoped for. Not just humans standing against empires, but people of all species choosing a better path. Tell Ellis she is welcome here, and tell her to bring anyone else who wants to choose honor over orders. They walked back toward the colony together, discussing plans and preparations. The Guardian Alliance was growing faster than anyone expected. With it came new challenges and new opportunities.